Godfall released and I don't upload enough. So, I mean, here's the thing. Intro too long, review time. To be honest, I don't really know how to really describe this game. It feels like Monster Hunter. I mean that in a pretty good way too, considering that I have like countless hours in that game. To sum up what I got that makes me think of Monster Hunter whenever I play this game, attacks are pretty deliberate. There was a hunt where I did have to fight specifically one giant monster, and I don't really give a shit about the story. Really, it kind of boils down to fun gameplay loop and just shit to do. To save you guys the trouble, if you just want like a quick opinion on if you should get it, I give this game like a 5 out of 10. But keep in mind, I gave Dark Souls 3 a 3 out of 10, and I gave Bloodborne a 7 out of 10. And Bloodborne is probably my favorite game of all time. Is it worth 60? No, but I'd argue almost. I'd pay 40 for this. With that out of the way, let's talk semantics and why I feel this way. A big problem I've had with recent games is just that they don't really challenge you in any capacity. Yeah, Godfall says fuck you and will basically kill you almost immediately. I don't know if you saw that there. I got hit by 2 trash mobs and one of them literally spat on me and now I'm dying. I think if you're into challenging games like Monster Hunter World or Dark Souls entries, this will probably be a game for you. It's really weird. Combat feels clunky in a nice way, but you're also really nimble and fast. I don't know if you could tell from the footage, somehow everything moves like it's on cocaine, but still, I remember at the time playing really methodical. You can see there that I knew the enemy behind the big guy had low health and was about to be soul broken, which is when that white bar is about to die. I also happen to have a polearm that when it soul breaks someone and they die, I get healed for it. It's weird, I can see my thinking, but I'm also surprised because it's so fast in hindsight. Speaking of in hindsight, it's super weird because even though you're so fast, attacks are like mega commitments. And the only reason I think it's weird is because it works so well with it. Like saying it out loud is gonna make no sense. Basically, it's like the inverse of Dark Souls 3, whereas in Dark Souls 3 you had like extremely slow movement options but almost no end lag. Godfall feels like I'm on fucking meth. But if you commit to something and someone's mad at you for it, you're gonna eat a big hit for that. That explanation might not make a lot of sense. I swear, if you play it, it will make sense. Literal attacks aside, this game is tight, and I mean, like, real tight. I don't know the frame data, but some of this stuff's pretty specific. Like, the dodge you get is not at all generous. If you're used to games where you spam your iframe to dodge, you're about to get your shit kicked in. You gotta be spacing the fuck out of this stuff. Also, for those of you that saw the trailer and you're like, oh, there's an upgrade for it. If you slide more, then you'll... Yeah, no, that slide is not an iframe. You're either using that shit to space yourself out or you're gonna eat a hit. I already know some people would put that as a con, but personally, I find that a perk that the game is willing to punish you for making a mistake. Too often, I'm playing games where there are methods to cancel like your hit lag or cancel your hit stun, cancel all sort of things just to get away with playing poorly. In this game, the only thing you're going to be canceling is your attack end lag, and you're going to be canceling that with a dodge. That dodge is a pretty important resource, because so far at level 10, it's pretty much my only iframe. Because of that, you start learning pretty early on that it's not the best idea to just mash dodge. It is definitely not in your best interest. So yeah, anything you do that plays an offensive role, it's got to be pretty deliberate. I'm sure this comes as a surprise to basically nobody, but the combat in this game is pretty spectacular. While I can say if you're into Monster Hunter and such that you'd like this game, I can't really recommend this to everyone because it's fairly difficult and a lot of the content already feels a bit repetitive. This is probably going to come off as if like a negative, but I feel similarities to this game with Anthem in that it's got a really strong gameplay loop, but I'm not really sure what's going to happen toward the later ends of this. From what I heard, content is supposed to be a grind, but I'm not sure how unique the grind experience will feel. I'm really hoping that they add different types of enemies because they're all fairly like predictable so far, but keep in mind I'm only on the second level of the game. For all I know, there are interesting enemies, and I just haven't met them yet. Maybe I'll update this review in the future, but I think a really strong verdict of this game will only come once you reach the end game. I'm seeing a lot of reviews that say this game is pretty mediocre so far, and that it's just not that good, which I think is disingenuous. I feel like that comes off like playing 2 hours of The Division, and then just deciding that it's a crap high-speed shooter, even though toward endgame everyone becomes like an immovable object tank. Does the combat look like it interests you? If it does, you should probably buy it. It's pretty satisfying. It also gets way more hilarious when you're playing with friends. A bunch of just really hype shit can occur. Got you. It's okay. He's done. He's done. Go for it. Oh, I get to watch you do it?
Yeah.
Yo,
this is my
sick.
great sword.
Oh, it's sick. I get to watch the kill too. Usually it just cuts to it. Oh, that was awesome. So to sum up, who should buy it? If you're a combat junkie who really can enjoy repetitive content if the combat itself is good, I feel like you should get this. This goes to people who enjoy Monster Hunter World or Anthem. If you enjoy grinding, you should probably get this. I can't say that in great faith because I haven't gotten to a point where I need to grind, but that's what the game was advertised as. If you like seeing a shit ton of loot just kind of spawn on the floor with all the beautiful colors, you got an orange legendary and purple epics. If you like that kind of shit, you should definitely buy this. There is loot all over the place in this game. If you're more in it for the narrative and you like story-driven elements like The Last of Us or The Walking Dead, you probably should not buy this. Look, man, it's a relatively bug-free action game. Chances are by now you'd know whether you're in the market for it or not. Oh yeah, that's probably kind of a big thing. In 2020, there's a relatively bug-free release. I've only ever crashed in multiplayer, and to be honest, in multiplayer games with all the shit going on like this, that's to be expected. Anyway, 5 out of 10, pretty good. You should play it with some friends. Donate to my fucking give me money. You got.
There's something missing from my bed. I'm staring at the ceiling, can't remember what I said. Let me whisper in your